A few weeks ago, I revealed to you my latest car purchase, a 2009 C63 AMG, and in that reveal video, I showed you this little black book, and in this black book are pictures of this car from about 3 years ago, sitting at an auction lot totaled out because it was hit in the left rear quarter. Now, the previous owner was nice enough to give me this little black book, and I knew this car had a rebuilt title, but I would have found this previous paint and body work anyway because I know what to look out for during a pre-purchase inspection. So in today's video, with the help of Mancuso's Auto Art, my body shop in Glenview, Illinois, we're going to give you guys all the tips and tricks you need to know to properly inspect the body of a car that you want to buy. Because had this car just been a couple years newer, had it been worth just a little bit more money, it's possible the insurance company would have never totaled it out and it would have never been issued a branded title. So it's possible for you guys to buy a clean title car that has a lot of shoddy bodywork, like I unfortunately suspect we're gonna find on my C63. I'm going to start by showing you everything that I found wrong with the body and paint of this car upon my initial inspection. Now, this car was located in Kentucky, about 5 hours from my house, and I got there at roughly 10 o'clock at night. So tip number one, try to see the car during the day, but if you can't, go to a gas station. They have really good lighting at gas stations, and that can help you find all the imperfections in the paint and body work. So right off the bat, when I pulled up, I initially saw this right here. This body gap from the rear bumper on the left-hand side, it's pretty horrendous. And then if you look a little bit closer, the taillight looks to be sunken in as well. So right away, I'm thinking something was done right here in the quarter. And then you can see the body line with the trunk is just really bad. There's like a big dive right here. So the trunk is not aligned at all. So what I did was I opened the trunk, and anytime you can take away any of the trunk paneling to see the inside of the quarter panel, that is a very, very good thing. Now guys, something I want you to check out is a link that I'm going to leave you in the video description box to an awesome website that searches a lot of the big auction houses for a VIN number. So you can type in a VIN number and search this website and find any previous auction sales. So a lot of cars sold at auction obviously have rebuilt and salvage titles, but there are a ton like this one that have been wrecked and that are sold at an auction with a clean title. Now, sometimes these are fixed and sold again at the auction. So you might be buying a car with a clean title. You might think that it's in good shape, but in all reality, it was wrecked and sold at auction. So this site is very inexpensive. I'll leave you some coupon codes. I've already gotten feedback from other subscribers and viewers saying that it saved them from buying a total disaster. So definitely check it out. But anytime you can take away paneling from the trunk to look at the quarter is a good idea. So I took away that panel, no tools required. And you can tell right in this area here, right in here, they're kind of like some hammer marks. It looks like it's been spray painted, so definitely some work has been done on the inside quarter, and it doesn't look like they've replaced anything. They kind of just moved it out. They pushed the metal out, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I don't think they did the best job in the world because, as we can tell, the taillight doesn't really line up with the quarter. So that was kind of a sign that they didn't do the best job in the world. So other than that, we moved on to this rocker panel right here that is cracked. That could have happened for any reason, but it was something I noticed. I also noticed that right here on the hood is cracked, so possibly some filler on the hood. And then obviously we have our grille that's sunken in because of the bumper tabs that are broken. So that is pretty much everything I noticed. The previous owner also told me that he ran something over. This headlight was kind of loose and it's missing the inner fender liners as well. So I brought the C63 to Mancuso's last week. I showed them what I just showed you, and then this guy, Jeff, the operations manager, found a few other things. So he's going to give us some more tips.
Let's take a look at the car, Alex.
Sounds good.
There's some things to see if the vehicle was repaired before. Upon inspection, we noticed a few things here. We did notice that the paint here around the hood hinge is chipping, so it looks like they put a used hood on this vehicle. There's some shoddy repairs up in the left corner. Also, look at all the hardware on the vehicle. You can walk over here, you can see the hardware here, and then the fender. All this was adjusted. So the car was hit, I believe was hit in the back, pushed into a car in front of it. Now this car was swayed, so they adjusted the front end. One more thing I'd like to show you guys, if we can go back here. To see if a car was repaired before, you should look at all the adjacent panels for color match. If you look here, the quarter and the door beat okay. but the quarter to the deck lid is way off. So I would believe they repaired this quarter, they blent the door, but they didn't mess with the deck lid. That's why the color match is so off.
Right.
Always look at the adjacent panels and you'll be able to see if the color is the same.
Right, because I know sometimes, you know, you look at a panel just by itself like this and it looks fine.
Correct.
But as soon as you hit that adjacent panel, you can tell even on camera that this is kind of a creamier looking white. This is a bright white. It's pretty obvious when you look at it that way.
It is. There's just these little things that you can look at before you purchase a car that might help you know if it was repaired or not.
Cool. So then after you purchase your car, if you want to know what's truly done to it, you take it to a body shop, and we're going to do what we're about to do, which is ripping off the bumpers and all the interior panels in the trunk, and we're going to take a closer look at all of the potential shoddy body work that the previous body shop did. All right, guys, moment of truth. Ted has removed the rear bumper, some of the trunk paneling, the taillight, and a few other things so we can kind of get a really good up-close view at what the previous body shop did. I'm not gonna lie, it's not looking the best. So you can see this area right here. These are all little hammer marks. Right around in here is where they added a bunch of seam sealer. So this looks like it was definitely crushed in. Just to give you kind of a good comparison, this is what that panel would look like had it not been damaged. So quite the difference here in quality of workmanship. Something else that I noticed right away is that this is rusting here, so it looks like this was cut and possibly welded. And then we just see a lot of seam sealer, so we know all of this area has been reworked and filled in and painted again, and you can see where the tail light is rubbing up against the body. It's actually starting to rust. So it looks like, well, we knew from the pictures that the bulk of the damage was right in this area, and now we can kind of see behind the skin at the type of bodywork that was performed. Now, obviously, you're not going to see this with the bumper on, but this is going to affect the alignment of panels, so it's definitely important to get this right. And Ted is going to talk to us a little bit about what they would have done had they gotten this car initially after the accident. So Ted, I know fixing someone else's mistakes is probably a lot harder than just starting from scratch, but what would you have done if this came to you right off the bat?
Well, looking at all the damage inside of here previously, it looks like somebody tried to save some money by not replacing a part. Normally we would have replaced this tail light pocket. It's a pocket where the tail light sits in and gets bolted from behind. Occasionally we come across that where you have to buy the whole quarter panel because it comes with the tail light pocket. So sometimes it is available and other times it isn't.
Okay. And where exactly is, what encompasses the tail light pocket? If you were to be able to get it separately, where would it stop and, you know, and start?
Okay, so you can see a seam right here, and it gets welded to the quarter panel on this flange right here. Follows this line right here to the quarter panel. It also gets, you know, spot welded across here, and right up to the body panel. So you can see where the caulking is, where they tried to cover it all up. Looks like they repaired it and just did a shabby job on caulking it back up.
Okay.
That's why it's rusting over here now. So the ideal situation would have been to replace that pocket, and you can compare it to this side, how the caulking looks. So you can tell this is the factory. Nice bead across here, and how sloppy they did it on this side. You know, so.
Okay, so even if it required the quarter panel replacement, you guys probably would have done that to make it right.
You want to try to match exactly the factory finish, and the factory seam sealer. All right, so something else I want to show you guys. Knowing that there was some damage here in this general area, sometimes it's good to run your hand across all the body lines over here just to see if there's any kind of tape lines, previously painted areas where they may have masked, you know, did a bad job masking. So I came across this little area here. You can see a nice sharp line, and if you run your hand across it, you could feel it. It's pretty sharp. You just kind of follow it around. You can see some overspray over here on the molding too. That tells me that they didn't pull the molding out.
That's right. Right there's the overspray.
Yep.
And then you can see that's a tape line you said, right?
That's a tape line. So they tried to mask the molding off, but they went a little bit too high over the molding.
They could have just taken the molding out.
They could have taken the molding out and saved themselves a little trouble, but so it's little things like that you can look out for.
Now, something else, another tip that I have been using for years is if you look at a car, these usually on a normal daily driver car, you'll see these like nail scratches on the inside pocket of the door handle, and each one of them will pretty much be equal, although you'll have a little bit more in the driver door. But if you see one of these that's totally clean, it's been freshly painted, and you should probably start looking in that general vicinity for...
That's also a good sign that a door has been painted if only one of them is slightly off.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so next up we are taking the front bumper off, right?
Alrighty.
All right. All right, guys, Ted has the front bumper and the headlights out, and I wish I had better news for myself, but because I like to show you guys the good, the bad, and the ugly, even if it's my own car, and even if it's gonna literally devalue my car when I go to sell it, I'm definitely gonna take the opportunity to show you the worst of the worst, because this may help you, this may save you from buying a total piece of junk car. And this might be my #1 tip of this entire video, and that is to search for stickers. So you don't have to take apart the whole car to look for stickers. You can just take out the under engine belly panel. And from the factory, there's gonna be a ton of stickers on parts like frame rail extensions and bracketry and stuff like that. And then when you get replacement parts, they're gonna have stickers as well with date codes. So you wanna look out for date codes on stickers. Now, I can't really see the date on this sticker, but this looks suspect to me because from the factory, these stickers actually kind of last a long time, and this one looks quite rubbed away. And then if you look at it a little bit further, you can see a little bit of rust right here where maybe they were grinding a little bit on the part of the frame where the extension goes into. So I definitely think that this frame rail extension has been replaced. If you look at the other side and you compare it, this one is just dirtier, it's grimier, it looks like it's been on there for a lot longer. So not saying this is a bad thing. I mean, when a car is in an accident in the front, sometimes they do have to do the frame rail extensions. But what I'm trying to get at is this is a telltale sign that your car has been in an accident. So when you're inspecting it during your pre-purchase inspection, look at the date codes. If a sticker says 2013 and you have a car that was built in 2009, that part has been replaced. Something else I noticed was this little bracket here has clearly been kind of mangled. They tried to beat it back into place. The paint is coming off. So you can see a lot of that on the lower core support and the upper core support. Not on my car, they look fine, but just in general, that's something you want to look out for is the paint flaking off. That means it's been hit and probably reworked. So something else that we found was with this right side headlight, it didn't work. I replaced the bulb. I bought a new igniter, but I don't even think I'm gonna bother because look at the wiring in here. It's totally green and the insulation is all off. So I think I'm just gonna end up buying an entire new passenger side headlight, a used one, probably off of eBay or something. And then here is another one of those tape lines. So when you pop the hood, there shouldn't be any tape lines like this one right here. So not really sure how much time they saved by taping it right here instead of just, I don't know. But these are just telltale signs that it wasn't, someone that rebuilt this car had profit in mind. They weren't keeping the car. It was just gonna be an auction flip. And I've seen so many auction cars that look just like this, where from the outside to the general public, it looks pretty decent. And then you dig a little bit deeper, and they didn't do the best job in the world. Oh, and here's a good example of a sticker with a date code, so 2008, so we know that's original. This one here I kind of ruined the sticker trying to get a better look at it, but it says 2007 somewhere on there. We can tell on these lines they have date codes 2008. Up here we have 2008. This is a 2009 car. So we can tell that all that stuff is original. So whatever happened in the front end, it wasn't bad enough to like destroy any of the coolers or any of the lines or any of the harness. It could have just been concentrated right over here on this frame rail. We're not 100% sure. And then in taking a better look at this side's frame rail, this does not have a sticker, and I was talking to Ted, and he said he's seen a lot of the frame rail extensions from the factory not have any sticker at all, and that would be normal. So if you have a sticker on a frame rail extension at all, that could be a telltale sign it was in a wreck. But I do know that this frame rail was at least maybe taken in and out or something, because look at this, they didn't even tighten up the bolt. So just generally a lot of shoddy work. The guys here at Mancuso's definitely have their work cut out for them. So let's talk about a game plan. Okay, so what's the game plan for the C63? Well, to be quite honest with you, I don't know 100%. At this moment, I have to talk to the guys at Mancuso's, and this is going to be a fine balancing act between getting the job done right and not spending a ton of money. You got to remember, this car was only $8,500, and it will forever have a rebuilt title. So I don't want to stick another $8,500 into body work for a car that may not be worth it. So in the next episode, you guys are going to see us basically rebuild everything that I've shown you in this video, and I'm going to go over costs with you guys as I always do. So again, you know realistically what a car that looked like mine, seemingly pretty good, could cost you if you wanted to get it repaired properly. So right now, I know we're going to be painting both the front and the rear bumper. We're going to have to do some alignment in the front and rear as well with the trunk lid, and also with the way the headlights sit in there. And then they're going to rework, I think, some of the metal in the back left corner just so it's a little bit more presentable and protected as well. So we're going to make it look right, but we're also going to try not to, we're not going to replace the quarter panel or anything too crazy expensive. So anyway, I hope you guys learned a lot from this video. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Stay tuned for episode 2 of this little mini series here where we're going to kind of rebuild the C63, and then coming up in a few weeks, we're actually going to wrap this car as well. With that being said, if you like this video, hit the thumbs up button, share the video, subscribe if you're new, and most importantly, get a pre-purchase inspection even if you bring it to a body shop. Sometimes those are the best inspections you can get. I'll see you guys all in the next video. Have an awesome day.